great to be joined here with Garth Rowswell, MLA for Vermilion Lloydminster Wainwright. And I understand you're in Edmonton today, Mr. Rowswell.
Yeah, we're we're disrupted like most other people. It's we usually find out on Monday if we're sitting this week, and so we found out that we're sitting Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this week, and we'll see what happens next week.
And I understand these past few weeks has been very busy for you, I assume, with everything going on with the COVID-19 pandemic and then Alberta's plan to relaunch the province. Can you just talk a little bit about what kind of work the government caucus has been doing over the past few weeks?
Well, part of it is just, like making sure that our infection rate and ICU, like how many people are in hospital and ICUs, and to maintain a very high testing rate in order to see where our situation is. Because the goal is to not overwhelm the hospitals, and that's been working out quite well in Alberta. They're not overwhelmed. And then trying to decide what to open, and then in conjunction with other provinces to make sure that, especially Saskatchewan, that we're kind of on the same vein.
And then when it comes also just to talking about Saskatchewan, I just wanted to hear your perspective as an MLA with a city in your riding that's bi-provincial. Have you been hearing from people in this riding that have maybe been confused about having to deal with Alberta Health Services and also the Saskatchewan Health Authority during this whole pandemic?
Yeah, it's created a problem. It's the mayor's had a difficult, he's buried the biggest brunt of this because Lloydminster has its own charter and they make the call on the emergency services, but they have to decide which one to follow. And I know when it's been on the Saskatchewan side, and if it was more restrictive than the Alberta side, we heard from Alberta businesses that were saying, well, I'm an Alberta business. Why should we do this? And it's a legitimate question, but that's one of the ongoing problems that happens when you're in a bi-provincial city.
And I just wanted to talk a little bit too that in especially this area, but Alberta in general and Saskatchewan, this pandemic was also met at the same time with the low price of oil. Just what kind of stuff have you been trying to do to work with the government caucus to try and help Albertans during this difficult time?
Well, we've been lobbying the federal government to help out the oil industry, and one thing that should help us out quite nicely in this constituency is part of the package we got from the federal government included $1 billion for site reclamation,
Mm-hmm.
and also some money went into the Abandoned Well Association to deal with abandoned wells. But we have about 150 abandoned wells in this constituency, and we got over 5,000 inactive wells. So to reclaim those and shut some down is going to require a lot more people to be working. And we just launched that this past weekend where applications could be put in. And over the weekend, we had already had 14,000 applications across the province. So that will help. That will put people to work. Talk to many welders and service contractors, and they're on top of it. They're making the applications. They're getting lined up to do the work, and we're going to be putting that out in $100 million tranches. So the first $100 million is going out for May, then another $100 million in June, and we'll carry it out from there. But that should create quite a bit of work, across the province and for sure locally.
And another issue that's kind of come up a little bit on the back burners during this pandemic was kind of the government's relationship with certain rural physicians. And I know the health minister kind of changed some things last week, I believe. Can you just talk about, are you concerned about your constituents' access to healthcare in this riding?
No, I don't think so. Like, there was concerns brought forward by rural physicians, and as we went through this, I met with physicians in each of the all three of the towns that are in my constituency, and had really good, productive, respectable conversations with them. And we were able to put that information to the minister, not just me, but all the rural MLAs. And there is a difference. Like urban MLAs, like there are some doctors that are strictly clinical, and then there's some doctors that are only ER doctors, and then there's some doctors that only work in the hospitals and do rounds. And in rural areas, they do all three.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different animal, and we felt that it needed to be treated differently. And the latest moves that the minister has done has reflected that, and it's just rural doctors in Alberta are, the compensation package that they have now is like as good as it can get in Canada, if not better.
All right, thanks so much, Garth Rowswell, MLA for Vermilion, Lloydminster, Wainwright. Thanks for taking some time to talk with me today.
Oh yeah, thanks very much.